video, we're going to be making a glass bead with some clear over it to give it a cool little stripy effect. So what you just saw me doing just a second ago was applying some bead release to the mandrel, and all you have to do that is go ahead and dip your mandrel into the bead release and make sure your mandrel is cold before you do this. And there's my kind reminder to hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel. And yeah, it helps with YouTube ranking my videos, and I just appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you so much. So back to the bead release. So make sure you dip your cold mandrel into the bead release. And then, as you saw in the beginning of the video, I tapped it on the cap to get any excess off. The next thing I did was do a quick flame dry in the tip of the flame, just wave around that mandrel, and that bead release will quickly dry, and you'll be all set to start. Now I am using borosilicate for this demo, so keep that in mind. If you are using soft glass, you will have a much quicker melting time than you would with boro. So it takes a little bit longer for me to get this glass hot, and also the working time is a little bit shorter than when you work with soft glass. So just a couple things to keep in mind as you go down your bead working journey. Okay, so I got the tip of my rod hot, and now I'm going to put some heat into the mandrel. And when the mandrel gets nice and hot, you could start to lay your glass on it. So I'm laying a very thin line of glass, and I rotate the mandrel away from me as I lay the glass down on it. And again, try to keep your glass a nice even size when you do this. And just continue to lay down that colored glass. For this type of technique, you want to make kind of like a thin wheel looking bead to start. So start making that nice thin wheel, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute here. You could start to see the wheel building up. Just keep the tip of that rod in the flame. Here I was just pushing it, was a little bit off center, so I'm just gently guiding it back on center. Okay, keep the tip of your glass in the flame and just touch it to your bead, and that glass will start to build up on it. You want a pretty decent size wheel to start with when you do this. It just makes it a little bit easier to learn the technique. And when you go to, put the clear down, it gives you a larger working surface area to work with. So that is what it looks like so far. It's not perfectly round, but that's okay. And now you need a clear rod. I think it's about a 3mm rod. And what I'm doing here is I'm heating up the tip of that rod. Keep your bead close to the flame, but not directly in it. And I'm just gently touching that rod down near the center of my bead and pulling a little bit of glass out. So I'm touching that rod down, making like a kind of glob of glass near the center of the bead and pulling it up towards the edge of the wheel. And there's what that looks like. And now I'm going to go on the other side, and on what I just showed was I made 4 of these like kind of little lines kind of in an X pattern, and now I'm going to go on the other side of the bead and make 4 little lines in between those lines that I just made. So that is what I am doing right now. And what happens when you melt this down and the bead starts to round out, that clear kind of like wraps itself around over the color, and it just gets a really cool effect. So now pretty much all your work is done. Again, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Pretty much all your work is done. And now the rest of this video is pretty much forming the bead. So you could skip to the end, I will not be offended, or you could just sit and play out the video and just watch the glass melt and start to form into that ball. So all you need to do is just keep the bead in the fire and just keep rotating, and that bead will gradually start to round out. And this is great if you're just starting glass blowing. It's just great to learn how to rotate something and keep it in one spot. One of the things that I tell people who come into the shop is half of the battle is knowing where to put the heat and keeping the glass in that one spot. If you are interested in learning about glass blowing and actually want to try it out for yourself, if you live in the New Jersey area, you can schedule a session with me and I'll be happy to have you come down and melt some glass. It's so much fun and it's very relaxing just watching that glass melt in the flame. And yeah, it's really cool stuff. So I highly recommend, if you can, stop by, take a class, try it out for yourself. You could visit my website at thefusingshop.com, or you could leave a message in the comments below. Whatever works for you, I am always happy to hear from you guys. Okay, so as I was talking, you could see that that bead is starting to round out, and it's coming along pretty good. So I'm just going to continue to rotate, keep my flame in the same spot, and continue to heat that up and melt it into a glass bead. Okay, so as that bead continues to melt down, I have a dad joke for everyone for this video. And the joke is, never trust someone with graph paper, because they're always plotting something. I just like to thank you guys again for sticking through and watching this video all the way through. And don't forget to comment and let me know what else you guys want to see. If you want to see anything made from glass, um, I love hearing from you and hearing your ideas and feedback. So by all means, use that comment section and let me know what you guys think. When people first start working with glass, one of the things I tell them is like making the design and or marble making especially. Making a marble is relatively simple when you put your color into it and everything, but making it round is what I find takes the hardest, not the hardest, but it takes the longest amount of time to make it perfectly round. So it's the same thing when you make these beads. Making this bead round, you saw like the technique that I did in the beginning only took a couple minutes, but making it round is taking the most amount of time, and I am sorry about that. It's just the way it goes with these things sometimes. But it looks like it is coming close to finished. Yep, here we go. Showing it to the camera. You can see those lines where the clear has been put into the glass, and it's still red hot, so you can't see. I actually use that blue glass. Oh, there it is. There's the cool bead, and that is what the final product looks like. While you're here, why don't you check out another awesome glass blowing video?